Presidential Proclamation, Adjusting Imports of Automobiles and Automobile Parts into the United States, March 26, 2025. Background and National Security Context. Initial Findings, 2019. In February 2019, the Secretary of Commerce concluded that imports of automobiles and key auto parts were harming U.S. national security. The products under scrutiny include automobiles, sedans, SUVs, crossovers, vans, light trucks, auto parts, engines, transmissions, powertrain components, electrical parts. Proclamation 9888, May 2019. President Trump agreed with the Secretary's findings, directed the U.S. Trade Representative, USTR, to negotiate with the EU, Japan, and others to mitigate the threat, instructed the Secretary to monitor imports and report new risks. Lack of progress. No agreements were reached through negotiations. Monitoring has shown that threats to national security have worsened, especially due to supply chain vulnerabilities revealed by the COVID-19 pandemic, persistent shortages, materials, parts, labor, electronics, growth of foreign auto industries supported by subsidies and state policies. Domestic production is now below 50% of U.S. vehicle sales, and employment has not improved since 2019. Evaluation of prior agreements. USMCA and U.S.-Korea Free Trade Agreement, KORUS, have not delivered enough benefit. Legislative efforts also failed to resolve national security risks. Presidential action, tariff imposition, tariffs under Section 232. Imports of automobiles and certain parts continue to threaten U.S. national security. President Trump deems it necessary to impose tariffs to address the threat. Tariff details and implementation, tariff rates and scope. A 25% ad valorem tariff is imposed on automobiles starting April 3, 2025. Automobile parts starting by May 3, 2025, with exact date to be published. Treatment under USMCA. For USMCA qualifying vehicles, importers can submit documentation on U.S. content per model. Tariff will only apply to the non-U.S. content. Penalties for misreporting U.S. content. If U.S. content is overstated, the full 25% tariff applies to the entire value. Applies retroactively and prospectively to all imports of that model from the same importer. Does not affect other penalties or fees. Delay for auto parts tariffs. Tariff exemption for USMCA qualified individual parts until a process is created to apply tariffs based on non-U.S. content. Exemption does not apply to knockdown kits, parts compilations, administration and enforcement. HTS-US changes. The Secretary of Commerce, in consultation with the U.S. International Trade Commission and CBP, will update the Harmonized Tariff Schedule, HTS-US, to reflect these tariffs. Future inclusions of more parts. Within 90 days, the Secretary must create a process to add additional auto parts to the tariff list. Domestic producers or associations may request inclusion. Decisions must be made within 60 days, with public notice within 14 days of decision. Foreign Trade Zones, FTZs. Imports entering FTZs after the effective date must be admitted under privileged foreign status, making them subject to tariffs upon entering U.S. commerce. Ongoing monitoring. The Secretary must continuously monitor imports, recommend additional action or tariff changes as needed. Other measures. No drawback, duty refunds, permitted for tariffs under this proclamation. The Secretary and CBP can issue rules and take actions needed to enforce this proclamation. Supersession of conflicting orders. Any prior proclamations or executive orders that conflict with this proclamation are overridden to the extent of inconsistency. Key takeaways: a major national security-driven trade action. Reflects deep concern over domestic industrial erosion in the auto sector. Designed to rebalance imports, strengthen U.S. production, and penalize foreign dominance. Includes tight enforcement, limited exceptions, and future expansion potential. Subscribe for more!